Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to present the company. So I'm presenting the company called Kopy Goldfields, and we are working also in Siberia, slightly north from the previous project presented. It's also Trans-Baikal area. Short cautionary statement about the wording. Then about the company itself. We have been operating since 2007 in Russia. We are actually the only listed junior mining company, exploration company in Lena Goldfields, which is basically a Badaibo area north of Vitim River. We have 11 gold exploration and production licenses, all of them for 25 years, giving the rights to explore, prospect, explore, and then produce. The total land area is around 2,000 square kilometers. Out of 11 projects which we have, for one project we expect production starting from 2019. So far we have 1.9 million ounces of bedrock gold resources presented under JORC code. As we are listed in Sweden on NASDAQ, so we have pretty transparent and pretty nice corporate governance structure. We have market cap of around 100 million SEK, which is about 12 million US dollars. And what is important is interesting, we have a lot of small shareholders, and based on that we have extremely good liquidity for a junior mining company with sometimes we have more than 10% of shares traded during the day. We closed a share issue in October this year for 2.2 million US dollars, and which was oversubscribed by 66%. And what is also was very much interesting and pleasant for us, that 92% of our existing shareholders participated in the share issue. During recently, so we closed two big transactions. One is 9 million US dollars joint venture deal with GV Gold, and the second we sold one of our properties, two of our properties for 1.5 million US dollars. So during 2015-2016 we have a pretty strong share price increase in around 250%. So that's a typical landscape from Badaibo area, and we are exploring for bedrock, but in the area where there are a lot of alluvial mining going on around. This is the picture taken from Krasny, where you can see alluvial mining pit for more than 100 years in operations, and we're actually looking for the bedrock, and it's more or less a very typical textbook geological structure. Lena Goldfields, it's a pretty quickly growing area with gold production. The initial gold production started in 1840s, and since then it's more than 150 years in operations, and more than 40 million ounces of gold have been produced. The vast majority of this gold is placer gold, and even now the area is producing 50% of alluvial gold, not bedrock. During the last years, the area showed 42% growth in gold production, which is pretty remarkable. The first bedrock started in 2000. There are a lot of strong mining traditions and good personnel, mostly coming from alluvial mining, good infrastructure with roads, electricity, and a lot of contractors. Numerous gold anomalies, and majority of the area still are not explored for bedrock gold. Major gold deposits: Sukholog, which is idle, non in production; Vysochayshy, which mine is in operation, and Verninskaya mine in operation. There are two more projects under construction. One is Ugahan by GV Gold, and the second Chortovo Korytovo by Polus Gold. I'll probably skip this slide because it was a lot of discussions previously about mining in Russia, and it's very much about the permitting. And what is good in Russia, that the overall permitting process is pretty straightforward and simple. And because the majority of mining in Russia is happening in Siberia and the far east, where to say it modestly, there are basically no population at all. there are no conflicts with the local minorities, and overall, as mostly mining is the only industry in this area, all the local authorities and populations are very much supportive for mining, as it's really, in the area like Bodaivo, it's the only source of income for most of the people. Two of our projects, Kopolovska and Northern Territories. Kopolovska is the project where we started the company nearly 10 years ago, and so far it's an area of around 80 kilometers, square kilometers. We issued a maiden JORC resource for 117,000 ounces inferred and indicated, and it has also Russian historic resources of around 0.7 million ounces. This year we are preparing production permits, and the next year we're targeting to start pilot production or test production on this project. The second project which we are developing, it's very much a greenfield project. We acquired 6 licenses for the total of 1,800 square kilometers 4 years ago on the public auction, and the area is very much the alluvial mining area with so far very scarce bedrock exploration was taken in the area, but the alluvial mining is everywhere, and all these white and red dots, it's really either producing or produced alluvial mines. The geology is very similar to the geology of Sukhoy Log, and long history of alluvial production and no exploration, as I said, for bedrock. On the historic data, we identified a number of targets within our license areas, and this year we started exploration program. So we covered the whole area with stream sedimentary geochemical survey. So far, the total for about 5,000 samples. And the idea was to cover the whole area with stream sedimentary survey, which is probably not very intense exploration, but it will allow us to cover the whole area, and with 2 targets. First, to identify potential new clusters for follow-up exploration, and also to test the historic targets. So far we received majority of the samples. We identified around 16 targets, which is pretty interesting for a number of reasons, and due to the location of the place and due to the type of mineralization we are looking for. So each of our target should be above 1 million ounces of gold. Another project which we are developing called Krasny, and it's our flagship project. We are developing it in cooperation or in partnership with GV Gold. The license we acquired via the public auction in 2010. Since then, a lot of prospecting and exploration have been done. Overall, so far, we spent around $14 million US, started on our own and then in cooperation with GV Gold. In 2014, we signed a joint venture agreement with GV Gold, where GV Gold invested $9 million US to earn 51% in the project. We is an operator for the exploration program. So far, results are very interesting coming from the exploration, and obviously you heard about GV Gold, but for those who are not familiar with them, they are, from our perspective, they are a very good partner, because they have operating mines within the area, 2 operating mines and 1 mine under construction. So they really, from us as an exploration company initially, they are a good production partner with very strong knowledge, not just to develop the project into mining, but actually having the whole personnel and infrastructure to develop the project within this area, as their mine is located around 70 kilometers from the Krasny potential mine. So several words about the history of Krasny. The mineralization was discovered during the Soviet time. At that time it was treated as uneconomical. So we acquired the license in 2010. During 2010, 2011, 2013, we run the first stage exploration program, drilled around 15,000 meters of core drilling, did geophysics, geochemistry, did mineral processing study, As a result, we issued the first JOC report in 2013. 2014, we signed a joint venture with Kopy Gold, and since then we developed a two-stage program, initially drilling around 15,000 meters, mostly for the upper structure, and this year we have so far drilled around 20,000 meters, both for the local and the upper structure. This year in Russia we issued the Russian reserve report and justification of cut-off grade per condition in Russian for 300,000 ounces of gold, mostly C2 within the upper structure. We have done a positive scoping study in 2016 by Ergidit Med, showing pretty good financials. Just for the upper structure, we estimate production costs of around $475 per ounce. JOC mineral resource report was updated in May 2016, but it doesn't include all the drilling through the 2016. So it was based on the drilling very much 14 and 16 and before, 14 and 15 and before that. So overall, we have around 1 million ounces inferred and indicated, calculated at gold price $1,200 per ounce. Our structure, as you can see, it's basically split between the upper structure, which is outcropping, and it was partially destroyed through the weathering. And then the lower structure with the higher grade, which is sometimes correlates with the upper structure. So the open pit, it covers the both structure up and lower, and the idea is to start production really from the first, so from the upper structure, and then extend it as step two towards the lower structure. Krasny project development targets and potential. So first gold production is expected 2019, mostly from the upper structure up to the depth of 150 to 100 meters. We target to continue with exploration and feasibility for the lower structure and open and along the strike and to the depth. And so far the deposit is open along the strike and to the depth. And then stage 2 production will target the lower mineralization. So near-term targets, December this year we will complete this year exploration program. Early 2017 we will publish the results of the program. We also publish results of survey and the exploration program for the Northern Territories. We also have acquired 2 alluvial licenses within our bedrock mining structure. So there will be a decision on that, should we proceed with alluvial mining or not. And then early 2017 we will take a decision together with our partners to take the project into construction and production. What is interesting, during this year we discovered a new mineralization within our license boundary. So it's currently called Krasny North. So far it is confirmed in 3 drill and trench profiles for the total strike of 400 meters to the depth of around 95 meters. And it is really like 1.5–2 kilometers from the Krasny deposit, and which will obviously be in the future produced from one mill. That's the geological long section through the Krasny Central. What is interesting, this is done from based on this open pit count is done from based on the last year results. So this year we actually turned out that with the new drilling we confirmed extension of the structure both towards the west, over here also to the east. So what we see is that based on this year exploration results we will be able to certainly increase the resource base for the project. Yes. Short about the capital structure. So we are very much Swedish company with the majority of our shareholders Swedish. The board and management team, board is very much Swedish and coming from the Sweden with a lot of experience in Russia, and the management is very much coming from Russia with influence from Sweden. So we have a booth on Minds and Money. Please come up for questions and for more explanations if needed. Thank you very much for your information.